In this video, I'm not going to waste your time with cliches like how strength training is important and muscle is crucial for healthy aging, because I'm going to assume that you already know that. Instead, I'm going to give you 5 rules for training, rules that will keep you strong, mobile, and resilient without wasting your time and without trashing your joints. And these aren't just abstract principles I plucked from the ether. I've been working as a personal trainer since 2001. I've been a full-time trainer since 2011, and I've been coaching online since 2014. And during that time, the majority of my clients have been people 40 years old and up, because quite frankly, I'm not cheap and the kiddies just can't afford it. So most of the people I've trained have been older, professional, working. And I'm 52 years old myself. I know I don't look it, but I'm 52. I've trained into my 40s, I've trained through my 40s, and now I'm training into my 50s. And I'm still capable of doing some pretty impressive stuff in the gym, and I've never had a major injury because I apply these principles. Before we get into the rules themselves, I want to say that sometimes what seems to be the safest path in the short term is actually the riskiest path in the long term. For example, machines versus free weights. Machines feel safer because they provide a ton of support and they lock you into a specific movement pattern. But if you only train with machines, you will not develop the stabilizer muscles, you will not develop the coordination, and you will not develop the skill to apply your strength in a real world situation. So as we get into this video and I talk about things like lifting heavy and ballistic training, I want you to understand that in the short term, you might look at these things and be like, hey man, I don't know if that's a good fit for me, but I assure you, when these are approached with intelligence, they are very safe and they will set you up to be able to translate your strength and athleticism to the real world, not just be a guy that can move a lot of plates on a machine. Rule number 1 for training post 40, core 360. You have to train your core on all sides, not just the front. You have to do your obliques and you have to directly strengthen your low back. Think of your core musculature as armor for your spine. And if your spine goes, it all goes. And although exercises like crunches and hanging leg raises are fantastic, they are not the most important way to train your core. Instead, we want to do static holds, right? We want to develop that ability to get very tense, very tight, and very stiff through the middle of the body. This is so we can resist any movement that might take that low back into a compromised position. Planks and hollow holds will give you everything you need for the front of your body. Planks are a very scalable exercise, ranging from extremely gentle to pretty damn brutal. And if you work up to being able to do a 1-minute hollow hold, your abdominals will be as strong as they ever need to be. I made a complete video on the hollow hold that I'm going to put in the description down below. For the obliques on the side of your body, there are 2 exercises you should be including in your program. The first is some kind of side plank. And just like regular planks, you can scale these all the way from beginner all the way up to advanced. And suitcase carries, because let's be honest, there's a lot of confusion about what is functional training, but I can tell you one thing, at some point in your life, you're gonna have to pick up some heavy shit and you're gonna have to carry it over there. So get strong at doing it in the gym and you won't be the guy that goes home with a tweaked back at the end of the day. Rule number 2, use 2 different rep ranges. We either wanna focus on lower rep, heavier weight, or high rep, lightweight. So the evidence is clear. With the appropriate amount of effort, you can build muscle at basically any rep range. So instead, we're going to look at some ancillary benefits we get by working at the 2 extremes. First, when we do low rep heavyweight, we're developing that neurological side of strength, right? That ability to create tension and generate large amounts of force through our muscles. And that is primarily a nervous system-based adaptation. And when I talk about low reps, I am not talking about heavy grinders of 1, 2s, and 3s. Post 40, those are a bad idea unless you are training for a strength-specific sport. Instead, I'm talking sets of 4, 5, 6, maybe all the way up to 8. But there's really no need to go past that to tick this box. And then on the other end, when we talk about higher reps with lighter weight, this is primarily for joint health. Your joints are not on the vascular system, which means they don't get a whole lot of blood. And by blood, think nutrition, unless you send it there. And the best way to send it there is to do higher repetitions with a light to moderate weight. And we want to do these in sets of 15 to 30 repetitions. And this doesn't even mean you have to use 2 different exercises for each rep range. Using myself as an example, I love doing dips. They feel great for my body. So one day a week, I'll put on the belt and bang out some heavy sets of weighted dips. And then later in the week, I'll bang out some higher repetition bodyweight sets to get the best of both worlds. Or you could do 2 similar exercises for the same movement pattern. For example, for the legs, you could do some heavy sets of double kettlebell front squat. And then on your high repetition day, you could switch to something like Hindu squats. Hey, real quick. If you're over the age of 40, the healthiest thing you could be doing for yourself is to start a daily mobility practice. And in order to help you do that, I've put together a free 7.5-minute morning mobility routine for you. You can get it by clicking the link in the description down below. It's specifically designed to undo a lot of the harm our modern sedentary lifestyles are causing. So it's going to open up your hips, unlock your spine, free up your shoulders, and leave you feeling a hell of a whole lot better. You can get it by clicking the link in the description down below. So, include some kind of unilateral training in your program. Unilateral training merely means emphasizing one limb at a time. So for the lower body, this is things like split squats, skater squats. On the high end, it's pistol squats. For the upper body, this means doing your presses and pulls one arm at a time. Now, this doesn't mean you should never do bilateral work, but it does mean you should skew your emphasis towards unilateral training. And the more banged up your joints are, the more you should shift that emphasis in that direction. Because when you train one side at a time, you give that specific limb the opportunity to find the most natural, pain-free range of motion. You don't lock it into doing exactly the same thing as the other one. This is incredibly important for joint health and pain-free training. You also get to take advantage of what is called the bilateral deficit. For example, if I am able to barbell press overhead 100 pounds, you may think that would mean that I'll be able to press 50 on the left, 50 on the right. However, what we find in the real world is actually I might be pressing that 100 with 2 arms, but when I switch to 1 arm at a time, now I'm able to press 60 pounds on my right and 60 pounds on my left for a combined total of 120. But this will allow you to lift ultimately heavier weights, which is crucial for helping you get stronger. Next, think movement, not muscle. The 2 types of strength you need to develop are the ability to move your own body and your ability to manipulate an external load in free space. My 2 favorite modalities to develop these are number 1, calisthenics, number 2, kettlebell training. Calisthenics is all about developing the ability to move and control your own body. Even something as simple as learning to do a full range split squat or a deep push-up can have transformative effects on how your body looks, feels, and performs. So calisthenics will upgrade your ability to move your own body. And when it comes to manipulating an external object, my personal favorite is the kettlebell. It's joint friendly. The offset center of mass provides some really unique stabilization demands. But if you don't have a kettlebell, you can use dumbbells, you can use sandbags, you can use maces. You just want to use something that forces you to control it, where it doesn't have the stabilization demand taken out like a machine does. And remember, your body just doesn't go forward and back, right? You can also move side to side and you can rotate. So make sure to include some of this in your program as well. The more of these movement patterns you can expose yourself to in the gym, the better prepared you will be for what happens outside of the gym. And finally, you have to include some kind of ballistic work in your training program. If you do not use a physical attribute, time is going to rob you of that physical attribute. And when we talk about ballistic training, the attributes we're talking about are speed and power. And this isn't just about sexy things like throwing a knockout punch, although it will help you with that. It's also about when 85-year-old you slips in the shower, you have that speed to reach out and grab the handrail so you don't fall over and you don't break a hip. Ballistic training is also great for brain health, and you don't have to think about this as high impact joint smashing type of work. Exercises like the kettlebell swing or the slam ball are very joint friendly and absolutely fantastic ways to train speed and power. Another exercise that I think should be in everybody's program is jump rope. And if you can't do jump rope, then you can get similar benefits from jumping jacks or pogo hops. These kind of low intensity jumps are fantastic for bone density, keeping your feet and ankles strong, and maintaining that lightness of foot, that spring that so many people lose as they grow older. you can keep it. So when it comes to strength training post 40, you got to put the ego aside and let the intelligence take over. It's about training in a way that allows you to keep training, because you don't have a spare body hanging in the closet, right? You only get one of these. So it's crucial that you take care of it. And applying these rules will go a long way to building you a body that is strong, resilient, mobile, and helping you keep it that way for life. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video today. I really appreciate it. If you found the information in it useful, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel so much. Thanks again. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.